If you want to learn how to start an LLC in New York, you're in the right place. Now, every state has slightly different rules when it comes to forming an LLC. New York specifically has some of the most newly formed LLCs, or limited liability companies. Stick around to learn what the steps are to form your own limited liability company in New York. To get an LLC, you can either do it yourself or hire someone to do it for you. If you're going the DIY route, there are 5 steps total to forming your LLC in New York. Step number 1. Name your LLC. Do you already have a name for your business? You'll need to search through the business name database that's kept on file with the New York Secretary of State to make sure it isn't taken. Every state has its own rules about what kind of names you're allowed to use in order to form your LLC. In general, you'll want to check that it's not easily confused with another business name on file. For example, Bear Claw LLC and Bear Claw LLC are not easily distinguishable, and you'll need to add either Limited Liability Company, LLC, LLC with periods in between each letter, or any of the other words on this list to show your business's name. There are also certain words that may require additional paperwork, such as insurance, trust, bank, and Inc. Lastly, though this isn't a requirement of getting an LLC, you'll probably want to grab the domain name of your business name so that no one else gets it first. Step number 2. File articles of organization. New York requires you to file articles of organization with the Secretary of State, either in person, online, or by mail. You need to fill out Form DOS-1336-F, which includes instructions for how to fill out and submit the form and costs $200 to file. Make sure to include the name of your proposed LLC, your mailing address, and the designated registered agent and operating agreement, which we'll talk about in a moment. Unlike most other states, New York also has a publishing requirement, the costs of which can range from $100 to $2,000, plus depending on where in the state your business is located. Businesses must publish a notice of formation in 2 local newspapers within the country where the LLC's address is, and they must include 1 daily and 1 weekly paper. The papers also have to be approved by the county clerk, so check with your LLC's county clerk for a list of approved print media. The notice must be published once per week for a total of 6 consecutive weeks, and the full 6-week run has to be completed within 120 days of filing articles of organization. The state charges an additional $50 for your certificate of publication. Step number 3. Choose a registered agent. In New York, the Secretary of State acts as the default registered agent for LLCs, unless you choose someone else. A registered agent refers to a person or business who sends and accepts all legal papers, acting as the point of contact for your LLC. These documents can include regulatory and tax notices, subpoenas, correspondence, and legal filings. Depending on your state laws, your registered agent can be someone in your company, like you, or you can hire a professional service to do it for you, as long as your registered agent has a street address in your state and is available during business hours. Step 4. Create an operating agreement. New York is one of the few states that requires you to have an operating agreement, though you're not obliged to file your operating agreement with the Secretary of State. In general, an operating agreement records your LLC setup, organizational structure, daily duties, and overall rules. It defines the roles and responsibilities of all LLC members, including the percentage of ownership allocated to each member, how profits will be distributed, and how decisions will be made. It's the core document of your business, and it can prevent future misunderstandings. There are 6 main sections to an operating agreement. Section number 1. Organization describes when and where a company is created, who its members are, and how ownership is structured. Section 2. Management and voting. Just like it sounds, it outlines how the company is managed and how the members vote. Section 3. Capital contributions. Which members are financially supporting the LLC and how more funds plan to be raised in the future. Section 4. Distributions. How the company's profits and losses are distributed among the members. Section 5. Membership changes. The process for adding or removing members of the LLC, or if and when members can transfer ownership shares. Section 6. Dissolution. The circumstances in which the LLC may be dissolved. Your operating agreement is a living document that should be updated each time there's a change in membership or management of your company. Step number 5. Apply for an EIN. Your employer identification number is like a social security number specifically for your business. It's a 9-digit number assigned by the IRS to identify taxpayers who are required to file business tax returns. You should consider getting an EIN from the IRS if you want to open a business bank account, apply for business loans, and pay your business income taxes. EINs are free, and you can get one from the IRS either online or by mail. And that's how to form an LLC in New York. It's important to know that LLCs in New York must pay an annual filing fee, which ranges from $25 to $4,500 depending on your business's gross income. Additionally, New York's newspaper publication requirement can cost you over $2,000 if your LLC's principal address is in New York City. This is why you may want to use a registered agent service outside of the city. So your LLC's principal address will be listed outside the city, and this will significantly lower the costs of publication. If forming an LLC on your own sounds like too much of a headache, you can always go with option number 2, hiring a service to take care of your New York LLC for you. Though it may cost more money than doing it yourself, there are a lot of benefits with choosing a professional service like Tailor Brands. Our LLC service will take care of your formal application, get your EIN for you, create your operating agreement in your terms, and act as your registered agent. So you can rest easy knowing that your paperwork is taken care of, deadlines are met, and your privacy is protected. If you have any more questions about forming a New York LLC, you can check out the link to our blog post in the video description. Don't forget to visit the Tailor Brands website and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more information on how to successfully build your business from scratch. We can't wait to see what you create.